The first thing which caught my eye was this Thomas Hobbes quote, a passage from his Leviathan that he quotes here. So let's spend some time on this one. So there, Hobbes says the war, he's talking about the war in its nature. And after quoting this, Hobbes says, who can deny that this has been the situation of the world since 1945? But he said this was not so before 1914. So peace was the normal and expected framework of European lives. That's his view anyway, at least within Europe. But anyway, the war consists not in battle only. The war consists of battle only, or in the act of fighting, but in a tract of time, wherein the will to contend by battle is sufficiently known. Wherein the will to contend by battle is sufficiently, wherein the will to contend by battle or fight is sufficiently known. So what's Hobbes trying to say here? Let's dwell on this a bit. So the war, according to Hobbes, can be seen in two ways. The war as an event, actual war when it's being fought, call it the act of fighting, actual act of fighting, or you say it's an event, and the process which leads to it. So war is not just an event, but it's the process. In fact, probably the process is more important in the sense that you are anticipating things, preparing for the war, guessing the tactics and strategy and the moves of the other side. So things are opaque. Obviously, when war is being fought, even then there is an event and process. But here we are talking about tract of time. That is, what is leading to tract of time. What is leading to this tract of time? What is leading to this event? And obviously, the specific thing here which Hobbes is emphasizing is the will to contend by battle is sufficiently known. So if it is not known, if there is no will to fight, then probably there's going to be, you can still have a war through accidents and all those. But if there is no will, so probably there is less. And it should be known, because if it's not known, then, people might still be preparing for things, but if they are not known, then they are not affecting the process in a way. That's what I understand by it so far. Obviously, there's nothing to understand beyond understanding the word, but you can, drive a lot of different things depending on how you read the passage here. But I'm actually curious about this word tract of time. So this is tract, process, that's why I've called it process. So it's sort of territory where the will to fight or will to contend by battle is known. So if it is known, then it is affecting all the sides involved. So it's not just the time, but also the span, the space within which this is occurring. What else can we think of tract of time as? So in a way, tract of time is everything between once the will to contend by battle is known and the actual event, if it does happen, event of war. So the whole preparation of the war, development of new technology, even proxy wars, they would all be included in this tract of time. So I'm still intrigued by this tract of time, just for, I think, more for philosophical reasons. I feel like there must be something more to it than what I have so far been able to think through. He has a passage following that where he gives the example of weather, Hobbes, where he said that the nature of foul weather doesn't lie in shower or two of rain. So the actual shower can be compared to war, I guess. But in an inclination there to of many days together, say, what is building up to. So cloud, winds, weather patterns leading to the actual shower. So the nature of war consists not in actual fighting. The nature of war. So he's talking nature. Actual fighting events. But in the known disposition, so nature of war, but in the known disposition. Known is important. Disposition is obviously important. There he talks about the will. There too, leading to the actual war. During all the time, there is no assurance to that. So uncertainty is important here. So uncertainty, so the period of uncertainty, where the disposition is known, will is known, and it's known, but you are not sure. So this, so this is the war, actual event. So what he's saying is the nature of war is more in this rather than actual event. It's like when we say the revolution is a process plus event. So event is important, but obviously process is more important in understanding the actuality of the revolution. So, and the element of uncertainty here is very important, because uncertainty create an atmosphere where you are already at war without actually being at war. So you will call psychological warfare these days, but more than that. So the absence of security, that's the essence of the tract of time, and probably that is the essence of war as well. And that gels well with his overall understanding of how societies form and why the states are needed. And it's important that the will to contend is sufficiently known, or disposition to war is sufficiently known. If it's not known, then you are in the bliss of ignorance. So probably, yeah. If you look at tract linguistically, one thing which is clear is that this tract is a spatial metaphor. Tract mean a piece of land. Although he's using time, tract of time, but his understanding of time is spatial. In the second course, he talks about atmosphere, I think. Linguistically, tract is, according to Oxford Dictionary, derived from Latin trare, to pull or drawn out. So basically, although it's a tract of time, but he is also taking it to mean duration, the time between. And its defining characteristics is you're anticipating something, but you don't know exactly how it's going to go. So there's a sense of insecurity, but also uncertainty. And combined with all these, that is the essence of war for Hobbes. Um, it's also, yeah, you can also use like a climate of war, and it at least captures very real aspect of war, especially these days, where you have a lot of information and also still not with so there's a lot of information to process, but still there is uncertainty, and the will to contend is known, or you think that you know it, etc. Okay, I think we'll leave it here. So probably come back to this again, to the chapter. There are a lot of other things actually interesting to read that chapter. A lot of things resemble the current atmosphere as well as the current dimensions of all the tension between the great powers. Okay, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلي وسلم على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين يا رب العالمين.